The United States spends a staggering amount of money on its military. In 2022 alone, the U.S. defense budget was a massive $813 billion. This figure represents a significant portion of the federal budget and dwarfs the military spending of any other nation. While a strong national defense is undoubtedly crucial, this level of spending raises important questions about its long-term implications. Is the U.S. taxpayer getting a fair return on this investment? Or is this vast expenditure fueling a system that prioritizes profit over peace? In his farewell address to the nation in 1961, President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned of the growing influence of what he termed the military-industrial complex. Eisenhower, a five-star general who had led Allied forces to victory in World War II, was uniquely positioned to understand the dangers of an oversized military establishment. He cautioned against the unchecked growth of this alliance between the armed forces, weapons manufacturers, and the government, recognizing its potential to distort national priorities and undermine democracy. Eisenhower's warning was not a rejection of the need for a strong defense. Rather, it was a call for vigilance against the vested interests of those who stood to benefit from perpetual military expansion. He acknowledged the necessity of a robust defense industry, but stressed the importance of balance, stating, "We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex." His words serve as a stark reminder that the pursuit of security should not come at the cost of democratic values or economic stability. Eisenhower's warning was rooted in his observations of the post-World War II era. The Cold War had fueled a rapid expansion of the U.S. military and defense industry. Defense contractors, once temporary wartime partners, became permanent fixtures in the American economy. This growth, Eisenhower argued, created a powerful lobby that could influence government policy and prioritize military spending over other critical needs. The military-industrial complex thrives on a cycle of fear and dependence. Defense contractors, seeking to maximize profits, lobby for increased military spending and the development of new weapon systems. This, in turn, creates a climate of perceived threat, justifying further military expansion. This self-perpetuating cycle can lead to a distorted national agenda, where military preparedness overshadows investments in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and other essential public goods. Eisenhower's concerns were not merely hypothetical. During his presidency, he witnessed firsthand the pressure exerted by the military-industrial complex. He resisted calls for increased military spending, famously warning against the dangers of the military-industrial complex in his farewell address. His efforts to rein in military spending, however, were met with resistance from Congress and the defense industry. In the decades since Eisenhower's presidency, the military-industrial complex has only grown more powerful. The end of the Cold War did little to slow military spending. In fact, the U.S. has engaged in multiple protracted conflicts in the 21st century, further fueling the growth of the defense industry. Today, the U.S. spends more on its military than the next 10 countries combined. The influence of the military-industrial complex extends far beyond the halls of Congress. It has shaped public opinion, influenced academic research, and even infiltrated popular culture. Through lobbying efforts, campaign contributions, and media influence, the defense industry has successfully promoted a narrative of perpetual threat, creating an environment where questioning military spending is often met with accusations of being unpatriotic or weak on defense. The revolving door between government, the military, and the defense industry further strengthens the grip of the military-industrial complex. High-ranking military officers often retire to lucrative positions in defense companies, leveraging their experience and connections for corporate gain. Similarly, government officials involved in defense procurement may later join the ranks of contractors, blurring the lines between public service and private profit. The unchecked growth of the military-industrial complex comes at a steep price. As Eisenhower warned, this vast expenditure diverts resources from other critical areas. When a significant portion of the national budget is allocated to military spending, it inevitably leads to trade-offs. Investments in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and scientific research suffer, hindering economic growth and societal progress. Moreover, the pursuit of military dominance often comes at the expense of diplomatic solutions and peaceful conflict resolution. The emphasis on military might can lead to a militarized foreign policy, where dialogue and cooperation take a back seat to force and coercion. This approach can escalate tensions, increase global instability, and make the world a more dangerous place. The true cost of the military-industrial complex is not just measured in dollars and cents, but also in missed opportunities. By prioritizing military spending over other investments, the U.S. risks neglecting the very foundations of a prosperous and secure society, a healthy, educated populace, a thriving economy, and a commitment to peace. Eisenhower's warning about the military-industrial complex remains as relevant today as it was over 6 decades ago. The unchecked influence of this powerful lobby continues to shape national priorities, distort the economy, and undermine democratic values. It is imperative that citizens, policymakers, and even those within the military itself heed Eisenhower's call for vigilance and engage in a critical reassessment of U.S. military spending policies. Reining in the military-industrial complex will require a multifaceted approach. Transparency in defense contracts, campaign finance reform to limit the influence of corporate lobbying, and a renewed emphasis on diplomacy and peaceful conflict resolution are all essential steps in the right direction. Citizens must demand accountability from their elected officials and challenge the narrative of perpetual threat that sustains the military-industrial complex. Ultimately, the goal is not to dismantle the military or abandon national defense, but to ensure that security spending is aligned with genuine national interest and does not come at the expense of other critical priorities. As Eisenhower wisely observed, every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired, signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. Remember to check out my book, Unwarranted Influence: Dwight D. Eisenhower and the Military-Industrial Complex, to delve deeper into this crucial issue. You can find a link to the book in the description below. And if you found this video insightful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.